Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Trap House. Listen, I know you are here for Ready to Love, Season 4, Episode 6. But before we get into that, listen, I just want to take a moment and say thank you so much for all the support I've seen. However, if you guys are new to my channel, like, comment, and subscribe. Now, I know you're saying, I haven't even seen what you got. Why would I like and subscribe? Just make me a promise. If you guys do like it, while you're watching it, if you can remember, like, comment, and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. Number one, it pushes me up into the algorithm. So, because I want to do this full time. So the more I get in the algorithm, of course, the better it is. And also with subscribers, it really lets me know that you guys support me and it gives me a lot of motivation to make more, better content. That said, thank you anyway for joining. Whether you like, comment, or subscribe, I am glad you are here. So without any further ado, let's get to the review. See, this is why y'all need to like, comment, and subscribe. I say this all the time. I need to learn to edit, but I don't have time. So until that, you're gonna have to take my hood, my hood fade out. Here comes another one. All right, subscribe. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back. So are y'all ready for this Season 4, Episode 6, Ready for Love recap and review? Let's get into it. All right, it opens up much like it left off, right? He calls the girls in and he was like, how's everything going? You know, Amber's like, I like Kris. I think of somebody. Amber is so when I think of Kris, I think of someone with a nice smile and I like the way he dresses. That's Amber to me, right? Verneashia is still into Joel. They might be the ones that actually make it because they have a bond and a connection and it seems so easy, right? Alexis is still with Ron, right? We'll get to that later on their first date. There's Liz. Liz is like, you know, David seems nice. And then who else is there? Chrisantheium's kind of free floating, right? She's kind of free floating because I think nobody is really checking her for right now because Liz, you gotta be careful about those quiet church girls, right? She said, what did he say? Liz is that quiet storm, right? You gotta be careful about that. So Liz comes and Liz has Jason and David chasing after her. And quiet as kept, Liz is kind of feeling Jason. I think, honestly, it's because, Jason has, in her mind, less baggage than David. But I do think that, I don't know, I'm interested to see where it goes. Because, like I said before, there's this softness. If you guys haven't checked out my episode 5, I'm going to watch it after this. I do a lot of psychoanalysis, but there's this softness and vulnerability that both of them share that I would like to see that explored. Now, he's like, listen, who's your favorite? Whoever that is, you're not going to see him this week. Fine, no problem. Everybody else is like, damn, except for Liz. Liz is like the sound of that, you know? You know what that is? That sets up with her religion or spirituality. Listen, it's not that I'm seeing somebody else, because I think, honestly, in the real world, if things were going good between Liz and David, the type of moral backbone that Liz has, and you know what Liz reminds me of? Lena Horne. Y'all Google the single Lena Horne. Liz kind of looks like her. She has Lena Horne's smile, and her voice sounds like Lena Horne's voice. So I don't know. I bet you Liz can sing too. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, I don't think that she would have actually stepped out and dated somebody else. Not that there would have been anything wrong with it, but she kind of seems like she was raised old school. Like if you're seeing a man, you see how things go with that man. If things don't work out, then you go to another man. So you see what I'm saying? I think that'd be a little bit better for her. But yeah, that's what it is. So we go to the first date, right? It's Alexis and Ron. Y'all, she starts off the date saying, hello, my priestly king, and this and that, and just complimenting him, right? Alexis knows how to play Ron like a fiddle. You look at Stacy and you look at Chrisantheium and the way they approach Ron and the ways Ron's like, well, I don't choose either of you, right? Alexis did the same thing they did, actually worse if you want to think about it. But the way she was able to phrase it, and say it to Ron, it flew under the radar. And Ron actually got more mad at Stacy and more mad at Chrisantheium. As a matter of fact, Alexis is probably one of the main reasons Stacy got eliminated. Not for anything she did in particular, just the way she is really good at emotionally knowing how to manage, you know? I always heard that term, the man's the head and the woman's the neck, right? But when I see Alexis and Ron, that's what I actually think. She knows how to work him, right? You know, she's good at reading him. And she literally tells him to his face that she has a crush on AJ, but she doesn't know he's a player, letting him know that if AJ wasn't a player, he would be my first choice. And all of a sudden, Ron starts explaining himself. Ron starts auditioning to be her number one pick. Again, look at the difference between the way you approach. I mean, there is something to say that maybe that's why they bribe. I don't look at it as emotional manipulation. I mean, there is some, but I honestly think it's just like two people. Well, she knows how to deal with them, and she knows how to speak to him and get her point across so that he actually receives it. You can say it's good, you can say it's bad, but that's what it is, right? Even her taking shots at Kris, she's still mad that Kris is even on Ron's radar. Alexis knows how to handle Ron, not to let her jealousy show, but to spin it in a way that he thinks that he's working for the prize. She is very good at making herself the prize. And then asking the thing, you know, it's about on the camera, she's like, it's about Kris, like, what do you want? Do you want a trophy? Or do you want somebody you can grow with? Alexis, you don't think you're a trophy? Like, which one? Because if somebody had said that, I'd have been like, well, I'm the trophy, right? Because, like, you don't think you're the trophy and somebody can grow with? I don't know. I will say something about Alexis. She always looks nice for her. Is it her style? My style? No, but I do admire the way she carries herself with confidence. But, and I know I'm saying this when I'm like 4 days overdue for wash day, Alexis, lay off the mousse or get like a light volumizing mousse. So you could tell she puts all probably a lot of body mousse all through her hair, brushes it down, and then lets it air dry. Alexis, it's cool. Get a diffuser, let those curls pop. Wild hair is in, at least in the circles I run in, as you can tell. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, it was funny the way Stacy and Kris didn't know how to handle Ron, and Ron was mumbling, and she's like, so Ron, after she told him to his face she has a crush on AJ, so what do you think? And he said, I think he's mumbling, he's stumbling, he's doing everything he can to pick up this prize he sees in Alexis because she said herself. I wish Alexis would have coached Tress on how to make herself the prize. Anyway, Ron, after hearing that Alexis has a crush on AJ, it's like, we're a power couple. We deserve to be together. You know, he's literally starting to write love songs. So kudos to you, Alexis. Kudos to you. Okay, so then let's move on. We go over to Amber and AJ, and all I can say is, God damn, Amber, calm down. Like, do you know AJ from a past lifetime? Amber came, and I always thought, like, Amber came out swinging, and to me, Amber always talks like this, no matter what, because you need to understand. That's the way Amber talks to me, but Amber came out swinging with AJ, but this is Amber coming out swinging, because I need to know that you want to, Amber talks like she's a Kardashian, doesn't she? Because I need to know that you're here for me. I didn't see the work. I didn't see the effort. So she put a little bass in her voice, but it was still Amber's delivery, right? She literally, he was like, I don't even, you know, AJ's like, yo, I don't even know who your top two is. And she was like, would you like to know? And listen, AJ had the right instincts, because AJ was like, I mean, yeah, if you want to tell me. He already knew she was on some bullshit by that tone. I mean, would you like to know? So she was like, Kris and Ron, does Ron have something I don't see? Because I look at Ron as like, I don't know. Ron and Troy to me are not that far apart, except for Troy leads with his money, or not even money, but dreams, because I don't even think he'd be taking people on trips. And Ron leads with, I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to Amber. She said, like, you came into the room and, you know, it was all, sorry, let me do it Amber's voice. It's like you came into the room and you were all like, damn, I know I look good. There was this arrogance. There was this thing. I didn't like that. And AJ's like, how are you going to tell someone? And that's the thing. AJ, maybe because I've dated guys like AJ. AJ doesn't strike me as arrogant. He strikes me as not even confident, yeah, but not superhuman confident. He just strikes me as like a social person. And he actually strikes me as somebody that when they were younger was probably a little bit shyer, but the way that he dealt with that wasn't to go into his thing. The way he dealt with that was to push forward. So now when he enters a room, he's like, how you doing? Hi, everybody. Because that's the way he deals with his anxiety. Amber was mad judgmental towards AJ, which makes me think that AJ reminds me of somebody she used to date. Because again, when you're talking about the player vibes, I don't get any more than Ron, your second choice, or Troy, who at one point was your number one. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know. It's almost like he was like, you need to humble yourself. Again, she was talking to AJ. She was talking at him, but I don't think that she was talking to him. He reminds her of someone, right? But she was like, you need to communicate. So AJ, because he's thinking about playing the game, he is not worried about Amber. And honestly, the way Amber came at him, if this was the first week, he would have put Amber on the chopping block because he did not appreciate it. Not on some, you gonna pay like the way Ron did Stacy, but on that way of like, damn, like where's this energy coming from? Like you made it clear you don't appreciate me. You don't like my energy. All right, like be cool. We're not gonna do this, right? So anyway, AJ's worried about elimination and he's like, okay, fine. I'll put in the work. He don't care about the girl. He just doesn't want to get eliminated. But fair enough. And Amber knows this. But the way I saw a side of Amber's personality that I was just like, when someone's on your good side, fine, but you lowered your power. Now that you know you have the time to make AJ heal, you're flexing your muscles. I don't know. I saw something in Amber's personality that, yeah, I don't know, but maybe it will never come out as long as she doesn't buy, but she holds, anyway. And Amber was like, and he was like, all right, listen, I'm going to give the energy, and let's see what happens. And she was like, all right, that's fine. I'm going to remember that because one thing about me, I match energy. Amber, you don't have the vocal range to match energy. You couldn't match AJ's energy if you tried. But one thing, he's like, all right, I'm going to do it. But one thing about me, all right, because I match energy. Okay. Let's move on. Now we get to Kris and Kris, right? The two Krises. This was actually an interesting date, right? So, one, you can tell that Kris thinks Chrisantheium is absolutely gorgeous, right? Because he walked in like he practiced in front of the mirror. Wow. And it came off just like, and Chrisantheium was like, hey. And you could tell Kris felt like so stupid, like, so, you hungry? Like, it's just like, all right, Kris, right? And I realized something about Kris. Kris is actually, Kris is actually like really, not low energy, but stable energy, like earth energy. And he seemed more buoyant with Amber, but that's because Amber is so low energy. So you know what I'm saying? Compared to Amber, like Kris is like the sun, but when she was around Chrisantheium, I was like, now I see I saw a better look to the stabilizing energy that actually works with Amber. But we'll talk about this later, right? They start, Kris starts talking about like her childhood, saying her mom just wanted an Italian baby. She just met her dad. Her mom's not really that emotionally affectionate. Kris opens up with his childhood and was like, yeah, like at least your dad was trying to rock with you. My dad never really connected. He wasn't really trying to be a part of my life. And then he died and that really, really shaped me. And then they have a moment where like their pain kind of meets and touch. And she was like, again, talking about her mom. Like, I think my mom thinks by looking out for me and making sure I have everything I need, but she's not a very affectionate person. And they really, really bond. And you could see that girl Kris is starting to look at boy Kris a little bit different. And then boy Kris messes up when he was like, if you don't mind, can I read your energy? And Chrisantheium's looking like, boy, I'm not into this. Like, go take these yoga lessons back to Amber. But the thing is, had he done something playful or used that as a time to kind of like grab her or be playful, it would have worked out more. But instead, he was trying to gauge his chances. But this lets me know also boy Kris is really, really earnest, if you want to say that. Excuse me, somebody's house is burning down. I'm joking. Hope everything's okay. Maybe it's a car accident and everybody's fine and somebody's just doing insurance fraud. Let's pray for insurance fraud and that there's actually nobody hurt, right? So he is like, I feel like you're feeling me like 70%, you know, but then 30%'s not there. And she's like, he's right. You killed the whole vibe, Kris, right when y'all were connecting. But I think because Chrisantheium, it's not that she intimidates him, because I do feel like Kris is secure, but I do feel like he definitely loves the visual. And there's a connection that he actually feels. And the thing is, that's the thing sometimes when you're dating people. You don't realize that sometimes when you have the same experiences, even though you guys have completely different personalities, the completely different perspective, there's something about the pain that touches. This is that pain that touched. You guys both had absentee dads. You guys both yearn for a closer relationship with the dads, but you guys have dealt with it differently. Kris has run to relationships and trying to find his version of reality and his love and build a world out of it. And Chrisantheium runs away from the relationships because she looks at it, it's like, I don't want to get these emotional entanglements, partly because according to her, her mom never really taught her how. But anyway, they opened up, but you know what's interesting about this? If Chrisantheium was more open to being in a relationship, not just with boy Kris, but with anyone, it might actually work because there is that bond. But right now, girl Kris is so closed off because that's how she's dealt with her pain and rejection, that she actually needs somebody with fire to push through her boundaries and make her feel alive, to kind of like wake her up. And the energy Kris gets off, because this is how he dealt with his pain, is to become a calm, stabilizing force like the earth. Chrisantheium needs fire to warm her up, and Kris is like the earth, that stability. But that said, Amber needs that stability of the earth, you know? There's no right or wrong. It's just like what each person needs right now. All right, let's move on. Okay, so now we move on to Joel and Amber. And baby, when Joel came walking around that corner, okay, all right, okay, oh, this mess, okay, woo. Anyway, as soon as he walked up, he gave Amber a kiss on the cheek, right? She was like, well, there's obviously been a physical connection, but there's no romance. Amber, what are you talking? Oh, I get what it's saying. Okay, I get what she's saying. I just really clicked in, right? Joelle's a smooth talker. She was like, so how was your day? And he was like, listen, whatever was going on in the day, I know that when I saw you, it was going to smooth it out. It was good. And I was like, he is a smooth talker, because boy, I asked you what you were doing today. And he just completely glanced over that and like this. So Amber is doing her thing where she jumps into quizzing, because again, I see her point. She's like, Kris is my number one. I'm not going to mess this up if I can. I know we're feeling each other, but if there's a chance, let me just get to the quickness. But the thing is, you can't ask questions about that. So she's quizzing him like, okay, what do you see? What do you see? What do you see? Just being direct, right? So then Joel, I actually think that Joel and Amber, they definitely have a connection, but I don't think they're a good match, because Amber is very headstrong. Joel's a grown ass man. And they're both strong heads. And Joel is not Joel, I can see, is like, as long as you're letting him be the lead, you know, you can wine, you can dine, you can do this, you can that, you can even stay in your own lead. But he does seem like old school, like when I say A is A. And I can see Amber being like, well, I think it's B. And Joel will be like, come on now, sorry, you know, talking on his Nolo stuff and telling him like, no, I don't work like that, right? And then being like, you feel me? At the end of it, right? But then when she was like, how do you feel and all this stuff, instead of really hitting it dead on, she was like, but let me ask you a question. How you feel about being a stepmom, a mom to a 10 and 11-year-old? You don't even got any kids. To a mom with kids and a man is 10 or 11 years older. That was like, Amber choked on whatever she was eating. I was like, well, I mean, all I can say is I love the kids. She didn't even have it. That's the only time I really heard animation. She was like, well, I know I love kids and I'm open to loving kids and I love kids. She was caught like a deer in the headlights, right? Then Joel starts, you know, hitting her with that New Orleans, that Nolo, I don't know, whatever you call it. It's like, you know, you feel like an old soul before your time. You know, you might be young. I'm surprised he didn't put on slow jams. I may be young, but I'm ready. Literally, is that SWB? I'm surprised he didn't put that song on, right? Then He's gassing her head up, admiring her maturity, and she's like, oh, old soul. Yeah, that was a really good way to kind of position the fact that Amber's been told that she's like a little bit monotone and boring sometimes. But yeah, let's call it old soul, let's call it mature. So Amber's gassed up. Joel ends up feeding her and everything. Amber is feeling it. That's another thing. I think that Amber really is attracted to Joel's physical. And if y'all seen it, you would understand. But she likes Kris the whole package, But if it's just looks, I feel like Joel, because of his height and the way he does have a very masculine energy, so does Joel, but it's two different types of masculine energy. But that's the thing, Amber, and I hope you're smart enough to realize it. His masculine energy doesn't sync with your feminine. It just doesn't. It's a different type of masculine and a different type of feminine. You need a stable, nurturing masculine energy, and Joel needs a nurturing, but slightly not submissive, but stay in the lane energy. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? Anyway, at the end of the night, she gives him the kiss on the cheek, and she's like, I feel bad. No, I'm sorry, Amber. I feel bad kissing Joel because Kris is my number one. But, yo, Amber literally talks like a Kardashian, or even Pam from The Office season 1 to 3. Amber, I can't. Anyway, okay, now let's move on. We get to Jason and Lena Horne's date. Oh, I'm sorry, or as I like to call her, Les. Listen, Jason is actually head over heels smitten for Liz. She walks in. He's feeling amazing, right? They have this beautiful Ferris. First, they have a little, I guess, not picnic, but outdoor little lunch that Liz prepared. They have a Ferris wheel. She's cuddled up looking at the sun. Before they get to that, Liz asked him, like, yo, what does it look like? Like, are you into marriage? What does a long-term relationship look like? And he was like, listen, no, I'm definitely here for marriage. I want to get married. I'm traditionally minded too. She's like, okay, so what about abstinence? And he was like, listen. He gave an honest answer. He's like, listen, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, right? But I'm willing to respect that, because if we are moving to marriage, I want to do everything I can to solidify the relationship, make sure that you're respected, I'm respected, and we're on the same page. He gave the perfect answer, and I actually believe he was being genuine. But this is what I like about Jason too. He's super, super sincere. There's a soft, sweet, nurturing side to him, but he's also very goes after what he wants, and he has that masculine energy. They're on the Ferris wheel, the sun's shining, Liz is looking beautiful, the sun is in her hair, the wind's going by, and Jason sees an opportunity and leans in and kisses Liz. Liz gives him a kiss and then pulls back, because she's a little shy, because apparently this is the first time, when you think about it, that she's had a kiss for the whole show. Yo, David's gonna be mad. David is gonna be so mad when he sees it, but you know what? That's the way the cookie crumbles. Jason went for it. Liz dropped her guard. Jason dropped the guard. They really had a moment and they connected. David should actually be worried. And unlike David, and nothing against like his thing, David has like the baggage of 2 marriages, and he has his kids. Not saying kids are a burden, but when you're looking at all that David brings and the things she's going to have to work with, and then you look at Jason, who she seems to have an equal connection with, but without all that baggage, I don't know. Anyway, they pack up, she's like, he was a perfect gentleman. I really care about David, but Jason's gaining some ground. David, you better be ready. I wonder if they ended up together, because if they ended up together, if I was David, I'd be looking at Liz like, whatever, find your love, right? And then Jason does a thing, she's packing up, and he's like, oh, here, let me help you with that. And I'm like, look at him being a gentleman. And then boom, he went in for that second kiss. Yo, David, get your girl, because Liz is on her way out the door. You better do something. All right, let's move on. So next up, we have AJ and Kyra. This is really interesting, because AJ goes in there and he's feeling Kyra, but Kyra makes him so easy. Kyra talks about the way their communication is like, it's like computer says no, right? So they play never have I ever. So Kyra's like, never have I ever cheated. Looks at AJ. AJ takes a sip of his drink. Kyra's like, oh Lord. Then AJ says, never have I ever been in love. And he looks at Kyra, and then he takes a drink, and Kyra's like, all right, boy, I was about to say. So she was like, so you have been in love. Do you mind me asking about what happened with that? And he said, I've been in love multiple times, but it never worked out. So then she asked about communication. Like, well, do you think communication was an issue? And he was like, I will give it to him. He answered honestly, even though we tried to walk around it. Remember I said, like, with AJ, one of the issues I see is, like, when there is time to confront something embarrassing or uncomfortable, like if his credit cards gets declined or whatever, he runs away from it, right? This has to do with trusting the other person, that when you communicate, they will receive it. And he was like, listen, there was a problem with communication. He thought he was communicating, but he can't vouch that the other people felt like he was communicating. And then Kyra was like, all right, I feel that. So, like, why do you think that is? And then he starts opening up, talking about his childhood, saying like he was kind of forced to be very autonomous from a young age, basically saying that his family didn't really provide for his emotional needs. They only really provided for teaching him how to go out and get it. He was responsible from a young age. So because of that, he learned to keep his feelings to himself. There's no crying in war, right? Go out into that world and go to battle. But also to the fact that he couldn't trust other people with his emotions, because as a child, he had to be responsible. And this kind of softened Kyra's heart, right? And, that's when I saw, like, they might, like, AJ does like Kyra, and I like the way that Kyra, and I don't know if she wants to take on this role, because I wouldn't, right? But when I'm looking at somebody else do it, I'm like, yes, girl. I like the way that there is something about her that pushes him and challenges him to be a better version of himself and to really open up. But she does it in a way, almost the way Alexis can push and challenge Ron to be a better version of himself. The way Kyra challenges him, it pushes him to push past his boundaries, but he still feels that comfort and he still feels that trust, because when he does it, it's almost like Kyra is kind of healing his inner child that didn't have somebody teaching him the emotional side of things. I think it's really beautiful. I wouldn't sign up to do it. I want somebody with their inner child already healed. I'm the only dysfunctional one in my relationships, right? And Kyra was impressed with the flowers and the lobster and the candles. And you know what? Like she said, he's always been in her top 3. Even the fact when she was looking at him and she was like, yeah, we went on a date, right? Everybody was like, oh, she called him out. But the fact that she remembered and the fact that it still hurt, she was really feeling him. There's a connection there. Whether both of them are mature enough to do the work, and when I say mature, not Kyra, she's mature, but whether Kyra wants to do the work to help him, push and be a better version of himself, and whether he wants to do the work of actually becoming a better version, I don't know. We'll wait and see. Anyway, let's move on. So then we go off on our date with Dedrick. Why do I keep calling him Dedrick? Dedrick and verneashia, right? It starts off kind of good. So she comes in and she's like, listen, we barely had a chance to talk. He's not really communicative. I need to see what's on his mind. Girl, nothing's on his mind. What are you talking about? He doesn't talk because, let's just say, Dedrick is a man of few words. Now, the funny thing is, I did read somewhere that he's like a Virgo. Verneashia's an Aquarius. We'll see that with her thing, the way she's like, listen, I don't need a man to take care of me, but I do want a man. So she's down with like unconventional things. I've never met a Virgo that was quite that slow with it. Like his comebacks, he's a very slow thinker, but also to the point of, he reminds me of almost like childlike, and I'll get into it, where she was like, but let's just say, he's a man of few words. Like, girl, there is nothing there. He's like, everything with him is so simplistic. Like, but right? But that said, again, there's something childlike and good about this, because he means what he says, and he says what you mean. I have a feeling with somebody like him, sometimes people are passive aggressive, or there's like different layers. I do well with people that there's not a lot of layers. When I say not a lot of layers, not saying they're not intelligent, but when they say something, that's what they mean. There's not a hidden meaning behind it. It's not 20 things. And if they have a problem, they'll come right at you and tell you what the problem is. And if you tell them to go to hell, they'll be like, okay, fine, I received that, but I'm still going to tell you what your problem is, right? They say, and honestly, for a while, there was something very innocent in the way that they deal with each other. It was just because Dedrick has like very, like the way children are, like a very innocent childlike quality. But then Vernicia's like, listen, I need a man to be a man and like, you know, leadership. And he's like, yeah, but what does that mean? Already, I know Vernicia's like, what you mean what that mean? Well, and then she gave him the benefit of the doubt. She was like, well, everybody's definition is different. So let's talk about our definitions. And he's like, does that mean like paying bills and stuff? And I was like, ugh, Dedrick, why are you wondering why she wants you to pay all these bills? And she was like, being an alcoholist, she was like, listen, absolutely not. Like, I've been taking care of me and my 3 kids. It's cool, but I do want a man to kind of step in and help me out, but also to lead, right? And that's where you see Joel is a Cancer. He can actually step in and lead. But honestly, I feel like what she was trying to say is, I know how to take care of the practical sides. I know how to support myself. I know how to take care of my family. I know this and that. When she wants a man to lead, she wants a man to lead her through emotional storms. And because Joel is that Cancer man, he knows how to grab you and lead you through those emotional storms. The only thing is, a lot of times Cancers are the ones causing the emotional storm. So it's like you know, it is, you choose your own adventure, right? But then for some reason, Dedrick gets offended by that. And he starts taking shots like, oh, but you're tough. And then she's like, what you mean I'm tough? What do you mean she's tough? She doesn't seem like tough at all. She seems like she knows what she wants. But then again, I never dated her. You had more interactions, but I don't see the toughness. It's almost like he's saying that I can't, like, you know, men or even people, when they can't rise to your level, they make excuses. And it seems like he's trying to create this narrative like, it's not the fact that I can't lead, you won't let me lead. If he's trying to make this narrative already, and we haven't even gotten in a relationship, like, you're already trying to shift blame. To me, that's some little kid stuff, right? So then he was like, man, I don't even feel like eating. I don't even feel like being here. And he's searching her face and she's like, all right, well, we can go. And he's like, all right, I'll walk you to your car. It was just weird, awkward, and unnecessary. They are not matched. The quiet as it's kept. Quiet as it's kept. He should have kept Tress. Tress was willing to be kind of like the mommy / lover. I know that sounds so yucky, but you know what I'm saying? She was ready to either help him lead, walk hand in hand, nourish him. Like, she was ready to be the type of woman that he needed. She was already that type of woman. And I think he sensed that because he kind of does want someone that kind of is like a mommy in a weird way. That's where it comes up. But I will say that, yeah, and Tressa was a Pisces. So there we go. Pisces are really good at intuitively understanding emotionally what is needed in the situation, which is why sometimes they're really good at ripping situations apart, because intuitively they know what's going to be the sugar or what's going to be the poison intuitively, right? And also Pisces are very when they want to be, they're very considerate to other people's emotions and understanding where it's coming from. So he really did a bad thing. You know, when they say a man that finds a woman finds a treasure, honestly, I feel like his soul, when he met Tress, realized he was finding a treasure, but because the other guys were like, ew, you like Tress, ew, she has cooties, he was like, oh, all right, and he let that go. Man, that was a mistake. You let your treasure go. Anyway, let's move on. Now we get invited back to the ladies' lounge, and yo, the fashions. Did I ever talk about the fashion? Amber loves a good sheer blouse with a high neck and a bow, giving barrister's teeth. Kyra likes, let me stop, because y'all sitting here looking at me in my workout clothes, so let me shut up, all right? Let's move on to something that really matters, right? We're in the ladies' round. He starts with Amber, right? Amber's like, you know, she really liked her date. And it showed her a different side of Joel, right? I see now why, as Amber being a Taurus, she respects people that work. And this is kind of probably why AJ turned her off so much, because she's like, I don't see you want to work. You want things handed to her. Maybe it was just something astrology-wise that she was like, And AJ is a Scorpio, but that's odd, because usually Taurus and Scorpios, like, they understand each other, at least in relationships, and they get along, right? But she said she saw something in Joel. Again, Cancers and Tauruses, Joel is a Cancer. Cancers and Tauruses are always equally yoked because at their core, they have that same emotional center, even though Tauruses are very good at hiding it and just getting on with the work, right? They funnel their emotions into the work. All earth signs do. That's why they're usually so successful, right? So that's it, right? Verneashia was looking over like, what? Like, because she shared that they had a kiss, right? That was Amber's Taurus self putting in her, like, establishing her territory. Verneashia was actually hurt because she said up to that point they hadn't even had a kiss. I'm actually, even though I don't like to see people competing, I'm actually starting to live. This is actually getting really juicy because somebody that likes somebody is going to have to go home, right? Then they talked to Kyra. Kyra was like, listen, she had a great time with AJ, but she also had a great time with Jason. Kyra is a Capricorn, Jason's a Capricorn. That's still her number one, right? But and Capricorns are equally suited when the woman's more successful than the man. More on that later. But she was really feeling AJ because AJ had like, she felt like she opened something up. And there is something about that emotional bond with a Scorpio, right? Kris is still talking about Ron's because I just realized Kris is a Leo. So she's like, I'm nobody's number two. You have to be the center of earth. Alexis is actually really, at first it was always low key. I'm watching this in real time, so that's why it's unfolding like this. Y'all probably like, yeah, we know what happened. Alexis low key has this really weird vendetta against Kris, girl Kris. Where she's always taking digs, always rubbing the fact that Ron wants her more than thing. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that arch enemy between Pisces and Leo. Maybe they have outside beef. Maybe, you know, Alexis being that, girl Kris being that Leo comes in and was like, I'm the center of attention. And Alexis, the way they call herself Alexis Fly, she's like, babe, this is my spotlight. Please go over there. So maybe it's just a competition between two people that want the spotlight. Anyway, the two people that said that they want to go is Dedrick, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't have a connection with them, right? And also AJ. Right? So now we're going to go and we're going to see what actually happened. But everybody still most people had a good time on their dates. The people that didn't, you already saw that coming. So anyway, let's see. So it's Dedrick and it is AJ in the bottom. And Kyra was really, really disappointed to hear AJ. And by the way, Lena Horne, or should I say Liz, Kyra was really, really upset to hear that Liz actually got a kiss from Jason. Like really, really upset. Because everybody's like, girl, you got David. But I don't know. There's something about Liz and Liz and what's his name? Jason. I don't know. I think they're in for the long run. And either that or Amber and Kris. But I think that Amber and Kris, because Joel, being a Cancer man, is not going to let Taurus Amber woman run him, make him do any more, like he's putting in the work he wants. And as him as a Cancer man, it's like, this is the work I'm prepared to put into. This is what I am. But he's not about to be ran. Do you see what I'm saying? So it seems like a relationship, if it was in the real world, they would date for maybe 6 years, maybe 3 years. But as soon as they had a disagreement, yeah, that Taurus bull would wear its hair and let him know what's ever up. And that Cancer man would be kind of passive aggressive the way Cancers can be sometimes to put her in her place. But anyway, let's move on to see what happens. So they go out to dinner. It's AJ and Alexis. Alexis is a little tease. She's just a tease. And no shade. I like a good tease, right? Alexis, she just can't help but flirt. Like she just can't. It's like sport to her. And I love to see it. I love to see it. Okay, so anyway, we get to Dedrick. He goes out to dinner with Kyra, you know. Alexis goes out with AJ. She's explaining the way a lot of ladies don't feel like you know, you're just skating by in your looks. And AJ's like, yeah, and how you feel. And AJ starts his bullshit again. Listen, honestly, maybe Amber had a point. Because instead of listening to Alexa, you're spinning her around, pulling her back, hugging her from the back, blowing in her ear. Like all these things, like, AJ, will you stop it? Like, I get it. That Scorpio, the way he disarms people is to get them to their base level emotions, right? Whether that is arousal, whether that is anger, whether that is happiness. And that's what he does when he's in a nervous situation. Fine, but like Amber had a point. But that's the thing about Tauruses, right? Well, I always talk trash about the things Taurus say, but they're usually always right. I'm always like, oh, like Amber, can you just enjoy the moment? And then I'm like, God damn, Amber was right. Okay, so Taurus struck again and she was right. Then it gets to Dedrick and Kyra, and they're both earth signs. So Kyra kind of understands Dedrick a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Not on a personal level, but just on an energy level. She understands why he does the things that he does. So she feels real bad about having to let him down. And, you know, they're like, you know, it just feels like you weren't guarded. You didn't open up. You didn't do this. He's a man of few words, y'all. And if he had opened up, which y'all have listened, like, again, I really feel like he had a treasure in Tress, somebody to kind of like maternally love him, but not be his mommy, but just that nurturing, that deep nurturing energy that Tress naturally has. She's a Pisces. Like when Pisces want to be nurturing, they can be nurturing. So that deep nurturing energy that Tress vibrates at when she cares about someone and likes someone, he could have gotten that, and that would have really given him firm ground as a Virgo for him to actually stand on. Because I feel like as a Virgo, probably one of the reasons he didn't open up so much and talk was because Virgos notice so much and they're so critical of themselves. It's one of the reasons why people say that Virgos notice other people. You're critical because you see what could be and you see what is, and you want everybody around you to be the best, not because you want to be like, oh, you have to be the best, but because you want everybody. You look at the one thing that's worse is wasted potential, wasted talent, and you hate that you waste your potential and talent, so you want everybody else to live a life that you either don't have the courage to, or at the time don't know how. You know, it's literally an act of love for a Virgo to try to get you to do better, right? It really honestly is. But the flip side is, because you notice so much, you also notice what you're lacking and you become very critical. And I feel like that's probably because why he stays in his own head so much, because he's literally busy criticizing himself. But anyway, they said he wasn't ready for love. When they said that, I felt like they smacked the bunny. I don't know why Dedrick has a soft spot in my heart. I felt like Kyra kicked the bunny. Kyra felt like she kicked the bunny because she was like, can I have a hug? Even she felt bad. And he was like, all right. And he really left it off on that gentle nature I love about him. And he was like, to everybody, I said, thank you. Like, Dedrick, you breaking my heart, right? To everybody, I said, thank you, putting on his jacket. And he's like, I'm ready to love, you know? Is anybody like, and then whenever the person finds me, they find me. Tress, Dedrick, can y'all call each other again? Like, I would really love to hear that they're back together, but I don't know. So basically, Alexis tells AJ, listen, for all y'all wondering, he didn't get sent home. I'm watching this real time. Alexis tells AJ, yo, always remember who your number one is. She tells AJ, you need to work harder, especially with me. I love the way Alexis always puts herself first. Like, Alexis is self-centered, and I love it. But it's a lovable type of self-centeredness. Like, that's right, Alexis. Put yourself first, because honestly, I've learned in life, if you don't put yourself first, especially when it comes to men, somebody else, they're going to put somebody else first, or if nobody else is around, they'll put themselves first. So put yourself first. Then it goes into the next week. We get a preview. What's the challenge? You got to bring everybody home to meet your closest friends. We get Verneashia and Joel. I think it's one of Joel's friends or relatives, but they're like, yo, I guess she's mad that Joel got a kiss from Amber. You know, Cancer men, they're watch out, Verneashia. And she was like, I want to be put first. And the girl was like, but you know, Joel is very friendly. And Joel had a little smile, and I was just like, yo, Joel. But again, it makes sense, because just like I saw him come around that corner for the date with Amber, so did everybody else. I mean, it is what it is, right? Then Amber, AJ, and is, you know, AJ's being AJ, and Alexis is putting the I don't know who Alexis wants. I feel like Alexis wants everybody. Alexis just wants to win. I really honestly don't know if she even really likes Ron like that, because in the next scene, she's competing with girl Kris over Ron, right? And they're tossing it up and this and that. And Alexis is like, don't forget who your number one is. She really does not like girl Kris. There is some competition. And now I'm beginning to think, is Ron the prize? Or do you just want for her to get her nose rubbed in that the guy that Kris wants her? I'm really confused right now, because now I'm starting to see this relationship between Alexis and AJ. He really, really likes her. But the thing is, I don't think AJ is feeling Alexis like that. I really, honestly don't. I feel like he knows that he kind of like affects her emotionally, and there's this thing, and he's using that to keep her as the number 2. But we'll wait to see how it goes. Things are getting interesting. I'm glad I jumped in mid-season. Go on, and if you guys want to see any gossip, any tarot readings, ever, whatever, hit up my feed. If you guys are watching this, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends. I am trying to do this full time, and if you do this will push me up in the algorithm. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, let me say this in my, what's her name? In my Amber voice. All right, guys, thank you so much. And I am trying to do this. And if you could do it, I would really appreciate it. Okay? All right, I'll see y'all next episode. Bye.